Today, we're exploring every most legendary aircraft ever built, starting with number 1 Wright Flyer, United States, 1903. On December 17, 1903, at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the Wright Flyer became the first powered, controlled, heavier-than-air aircraft to achieve sustained flight. Built by Orville and Wilbur Wright from sprucewood, muslin, and a custom-built gasoline engine, it flew just 120 feet in 12 seconds. That brief moment ended centuries of failed attempts and launched the entire age of aviation. No aircraft before or since carries that singular weight. It was the first. 2. Sopwith Camel, United Kingdom, 1917. Britain's Sopwith Camel became the most successful Allied fighter of the First World War, credited with destroying more enemy aircraft than any other Allied type. Over 1,294 confirmed aerial victories. Powered by a rotary engine that gave it extraordinary agility, the Camel was notoriously difficult to fly, demanding total respect from its pilots. In the hands of an experienced aviator, it was lethal. Aces like Canadian pilot William Barker and American Eddie Rickenbacker's contemporaries flew it into legend. 3. Fokker Dr. I Triplane, Germany, 1917. When Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, chose the Fokker Dr. I as his primary mount, the aircraft became immortal. The triplane's 3-wing configuration gave it a rate of climb and turning radius that surprised Allied pilots. Though produced in limited numbers, its association with Germany's greatest fighter aces, including Ernst Udet and Werner Voss, cemented its place as one of the most iconic combat aircraft in history. It remains a symbol of an era defined by personal aerial combat. 4. Supermarine Spitfire, United Kingdom, 1938. Few aircraft in history carry the emotional and historical weight of the Spitfire. Designed by R.J. Mitchell and powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, it became Britain's defining symbol of resistance during the Battle of Britain in 1940. Its elliptical wing design gave it exceptional speed and handling, and it was continuously developed across 24 major variants throughout the war. More than 20,000 were built. Pilots who flew it described the experience as unlike any other aircraft: instinctive, responsive, and alive. 5. North American P-51 Mustang, United States, 1942. The P-51 Mustang solved one of the most critical problems of the air war over Europe: the lack of a long-range escort fighter capable of accompanying bombers all the way to Berlin and back. With drop tanks, the Mustang had a range exceeding 1,650 miles. Paired with the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, it achieved speeds over 440 miles per hour. It decimated the Luftwaffe's fighter force in 1944, and many historians credit it as a decisive factor in establishing Allied air superiority over Germany. 6. Messerschmitt Bf-109, Germany, 1937. The Bf-109 was the backbone of the Luftwaffe throughout the entire Second World War, the most produced fighter aircraft in history, with over 33,000 manufactured. It was present at every major German campaign, from Poland in 1939 to the final defense of Berlin in 1945. Continuously upgraded, it remained competitive against far newer designs. Legendary German aces, including Erich Hartmann, who recorded 352 aerial victories, the highest in history, flew the Bf-109 as their primary aircraft throughout the war. 7. De Havilland Mosquito, United Kingdom, 1941. Built primarily from wood at a time when metal was the standard for combat aircraft, the de Havilland Mosquito defied logic and rewrote expectations. Fast enough to outrun most Axis fighters, it served as a bomber, night fighter, photo reconnaissance aircraft, and precision strike platform. Its top speed of 415 miles per hour made interception difficult, and its versatility made it invaluable. Air Chief Marshal Arthur Tedder called it the most perfect aircraft in existence. It remains one of the most adaptable warplanes ever designed. 8. Boeing B-52 Flying Fortress, United States, 1938. The B-52 Flying Fortress became the symbol of American strategic bombing in Europe. Flying in tight formations through some of the most heavily defended airspace in history, B-52 crews faced flak, fighters, and brutal cold at high altitude. The aircraft's ability to absorb catastrophic damage and still return its crew home became the stuff of legend, documented in hundreds of combat reports and photographs. Over 12,700 were built, and the missions they flew over occupied Europe shaped the entire doctrine of strategic air power. 9. Avro Lancaster, United Kingdom, 1942. The Avro Lancaster was Britain's primary heavy bomber, conducting the vast majority of RAF Bomber Command's nighttime strategic bombing campaign against Germany. It could carry the largest bomb loads of any Allied bomber, including the 22,000-pound Grand Slam, a weapon no other aircraft of the era could lift. The Lancaster was also chosen for Operation Chastise, the famous dambusters raid of May 1943, in which specially modified Lancasters destroyed two major German dams using Barnes-Wallis's revolutionary bouncing bomb. 10. Lockheed P-38 Lightning, United States, 1941. The P-38 Lightning's twin-boom, twin-engine configuration was unlike anything else in American service, and its performance matched its distinctive appearance. With a range exceeding 1,300 miles, it was the only American fighter with a reach to cover the vast distances of the Pacific Theater. It was P-38s that intercepted and shot down the aircraft carrying Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, architect of the Pearl Harbor attack, over Bougainville in April 1943, one of the most significant targeted kills of the war. 11. Mitsubishi A6M-0, Japan, 1940. When the Zero first appeared over China and the Pacific, Allied pilots and planners refused to believe the performance reports. A carrier-based Japanese fighter with the range, speed, and agility to outmaneuver Western aircraft seemed impossible. Yet, the Zero was real, and in the early Pacific War, it dominated. Designed by Jiro Horikoshi with an obsessive focus on weight reduction and range, it sacrificed armor and fuel protection to achieve its performance, a trade-off that would eventually cost Japan dearly as the war evolved. 12. Hawker Hurricane, United Kingdom, 1937. While the Spitfire captured public imagination, it was the Hurricane that bore the greater burden during the Battle of Britain. More numerous than the Spitfire at the time, it accounted for the majority of German aircraft destroyed during the campaign. Rugged, stable, and easier to repair, the Hurricane was the workmanlike foundation upon which Britain's air defense actually rested. Its pilots, many flying multiple sorties per day during the summer of 1940, held the line during one of history's most consequential air battles. 13. Consolidated B-24 Liberator, United States, 1941. The B-24 Liberator was produced in larger numbers than any other American military aircraft in history, over 18,400 units, yet it has never received the same recognition as the B-17. It flew in every theater of the war, carrying out bombing campaigns across Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific. The low-level mission against the Ploiești oil refineries in Romania on August 1, 1943, Operation Tidal Wave, became one of the most decorated single missions in American aviation history. 5 Medals of Honor awarded in a single day. 14. Grumman F-6F Hellcat, United States, 1943. The Hellcat was purpose-built to defeat the Zero. Designed using combat data collected from actual engagements and informed by analysis of a captured Zero, the F-6F gave American naval aviators the aircraft they needed. With a kill ratio of 19-1 against Japanese opponents, the Hellcat became the most successful carrier-based fighter of the war. It was the aircraft flown by the top American naval ace, David McCampbell, who downed 9 enemy aircraft in a single mission on October 24, 1940 for a record never surpassed in American aviation. 15. Bell X-1 United States, 1946. On October 14, 1947, Captain Charles Chuck Yeager climbed into a rocket-powered orange aircraft dropped from AB-29 over the Mojave Desert and became the first human being to fly faster than the speed of sound. The Bell X-1, named Glamorous Glennis after his wife, reached Mach 1.06 at 43,000 feet. It was a moment that shattered a barrier many believed was physically insurmountable. The sound barrier had stood as the outer limit of human flight. The X-1 erased it entirely. 16. North American F-86 Sabre, United States, 1949. The F-86 Sabre defined the first generation of jet air combat. Over the skies of Korea between 1950 and 1953, it met the Soviet-built MiG-15 in the world's first large-scale jet-versus-jet air war. The Saber's swept-wing design, superior pilot training, and advanced gun sight gave American and United Nations pilots an advantage that translated into a claimed kill ratio of 10-1. The pilots who flew it described an aircraft that handled with a precision and responsiveness that made aerial gunnery feel natural. 17. MiG-21, Soviet Union, 1959. No jet fighter in history has been produced in greater numbers or operated by more nations than the MiG-21. With over 11,000 manufactured and service in more than 60 countries, it became the defining aircraft of Cold War-era air forces across 3 continents. Light, fast, and relatively inexpensive, it appeared in conflicts from Vietnam to the Middle East to sub-Saharan Africa. Its delta-wing design gave it supersonic performance, and in skilled hands it remained a credible threat long after more advanced designs had entered service. 18. English Electric Lightning, United Kingdom, 1960. The Lightning stands apart from every other aircraft in this script, not for what it did in war, but for what it was as a machine. Britain's only truly supersonic interceptor was capable of climbing to 40,000 feet in under 3 minutes and reaching speeds approaching Mach 2. Its stacked twin-engine configuration was unique in aviation. Pilots who flew it described it as the most demanding and exhilarating aircraft in RAF service, an aircraft that felt less like a tool and more like a force of nature with a cockpit attached. 19. Lockheed U-2, United States, 1955. The U-2 did not carry weapons. It carried cameras. Flying at altitudes above 70,000 feet, beyond the reach of any contemporary fighter or surface-to-air missile, it gathered intelligence over the Soviet Union, China, and Cuba that shaped the decisions of American presidents. On May 1, 1960, a U-2 piloted by Francis Gary Powers was shot down over the Soviet Union, triggering an international crisis. It remains in active service with the United States Air Force today, one of the longest operational careers of any military aircraft in history. 20. Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, United States, 1966. The SR-71 Blackbird is, by any measure, the most extraordinary aircraft ever to enter operational service. Built almost entirely from titanium to withstand the heat of sustained Mach 3 plus flight, it cruised at over 85,000 feet, higher than virtually any missile of the era could reach. Its top speed exceeded Mach 3.2, meaning it could cross the continental United States in under 68 minutes. In more than 24 years of operational service, no State Route 71 was ever lost to enemy action. When threatened by a missile, the standard response was simply to accelerate. 21. McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, United States, 1976. Since entering service, the F-15 Eagle has compiled one of the most extraordinary combat records in aviation history. Over 100 aerial victories and 0 losses in air-to-air combat. Designed from the outset with a single principle, not a pound for air-to-ground. Its twin-engine configuration, advanced radar, and exceptional thrust-to-weight ratio made it the standard against which all other air superiority fighters would be measured for decades. Even today, upgraded variants of the F-15 remain among the most capable air superiority platforms in operation worldwide. 22. General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, United States, 1967. The F-111 was ahead of its time in almost every respect, and paid the price for it. Its variable sweep wing, terrain-following radar, and long-range all-weather strike capability were revolutionary concepts that troubled conventional thinking. Early versions suffered serious problems, but the aircraft matured into one of the most capable deep strike platforms of the Cold War. During Operation El Dorado Canyon against Libya in 1986, F-111s flew from Britain to Tripoli and back, a round trip of over 5,500 miles, demonstrating a reach no other strike aircraft could match. 23. Panavia Tornado, United Kingdom, 1979. The Tornado represented something that had rarely been attempted before, a combat aircraft designed and built simultaneously by 3 nations: Britain, West Germany, And Italy produced a swing-wing strike aircraft that became the backbone of NATO's low-level deep penetration strike doctrine throughout the 1980s. In the Gulf War of 1991, RAF Tornadoes flew some of the most dangerous missions of the conflict, low-level airfield attacks at night in the opening days of the campaign, at significant cost to aircrew, but with decisive operational effect. The story of aviation is far from over, and there are still countless legendary aircraft left to explore. So if you enjoy these journeys through aviation history, be sure to subscribe and join us for the next one. Until then, thanks for watching and flying with us.